Hey, I'm Matt Wenning at winningstrength.com, and today we're going to go over mental preparation and learning how to focus without causing more anxiety and stress. This becomes huge when you get super strong because let's face it, sometimes workouts just get grueling. Well, the trick is to make that stressor still a positive influence in your body so that it can grow from it and not get destroyed. So we're going to tap into that today. The first big step to training properly is learning how to save some in the tank. And I know I've talked about this in other videos, but this is crucial. You're better off in training if you show up and you train hard and you say you do a max effort day and you wonder, do I have another rep or do I have another PR? It's better to know that and walk away with a positive mindset and make a small PR than it is to make another jump and know you don't have it. Because once something gets super heavy, your body thinks it's heavy. So you're better off always leaving the training session with the max effort or PR feeling a little bit lighter and then saving that extra 10 pounds in the tank. With myself personally, the first 5 years I trained, the guys that trained me from a local YMCA never let me truly max. They always said, save a little bit in the tank. And I think that that's what created a 30-year career with multiple world records. And almost every record that I hit was actually fairly easy that day. The point is that if you're saving some in the tank, it's better off to wonder if you have some left than to know you absolutely do not, because then it makes you hungry to train again, right? If you're like, man, I think I can hit that PR even easier next time, you probably will. But if you get crushed by a weight, it's really hard to jump back from that mentally, and it creates a stressor that is kind of unseen until the next 6 or 8 weeks when everything ramps back up and gets heavy again, and now you're in the dumps because you've already missed these weights and you created mental blocks. The next big thing that we have to do is if we want to be good in the gym, we got to learn to be good outside of the gym. So it's kind of a yin and yang type activity. If I want to have a lot of energy and a lot of power in the gym, I got to have a lot of recovery and a lot of chill out time in the off time, okay? So if I'm lifting at, say, noon, then 12 hours before that, I should have been dead asleep, recovering, eating properly, et cetera, et cetera. The point is that sleep quality is huge. Now, we've went over some other videos on this, but magnesium glycinate is one big sleep that helps reducing stress and light as we start to go through the day versus like 7:30, 8 o'clock. You got to start reducing the amount of blue light you're around. You got to start getting off your phones and your TVs. You got to start turning off your Wi-Fi and just let your brain actually relax. A lot of times we're going to bed and we're still going mentally and physically 100 miles an hour. Not good for recovery. Remember that what you did the last 12, 24 hours is going to shape that training cycle that you had that day. No amount of pre-workout, no amount of caffeine is going to mask that. The quality of your sleep and the depth of your sleep is going to be crucial into making new progress and avoiding stress in training. This is one big hack in nutrition that I think is massively missing in our particular realm, and that's the intake of omega-3 fatty acids. If you go back thousands of years ago, the human body was eating way more fish. Most people lived coastally, and they were eating a ton of fish. We don't necessarily take in that amount of omega-3 fatty acids like we should. But research suggests that up to 20% of stress is reduced by only 2,000 milligrams of omega-3 per day. That is huge, meaning that if we can reduce stress by what we're eating in just small dosages, why not do it? And the point is, if we can reduce stress and make training all positive and marginally negative, we're probably going to have a better result. So up your omega-3, eat more salmon, or take in more omega-3. If you need omega-3 supplementation, you can get it from ATP Labs off the website for omega-3. It's probably the best. It's like 4,000 milligrams per teaspoon. To give you a kind of a glimpse into my life, I take a teaspoon of that every meal. So I'm taking in about 15,000 milligrams of fish oil, and I can tell a huge difference on it when I'm on it consistently. So up your fish oil and it will reduce your stress. The next big hack you need for reducing anxiety and stress, which is not really training oriented, but it is if you're thinking training is your diet as well, is we've got to keep vitamin B high. Now, vitamin B is huge, and we're going to look at a couple reasons. One, if we look at B5, it supports adrenal glands. Well, guess what? Adrenal fatigue in highly trained athletes and people that have high stress jobs and try to work out really hard, they're going to have adrenal fatigue. A lot of times B5, if you have it high enough, is going to help support that not happening. The next thing, B12, i.e. red meat, it's going to balance out depressive mood. So there are some studies out there that are showing that higher amounts of red meat consumption is actually reducing mood disorders. That's huge. But I think that the real reason you may see that is because people that are more focused on eating red meat are maybe focusing on less carbs, and that leads us into our next thing. One of the big things that I've only become an expert on in the last 3 to 5 years is learning to balance blood sugar. You know, back in the days when I was training at Westside Barbell and we were all breaking huge world records in equipment, we just ate whatever we could. And if we stayed in our weight class or filled out our weight class, that was great. I'm not so sure that that was the right thing to do. I think the right thing to do is to learn how to balance blood sugar. Now, if you're not a real big fan of kind of watching what you eat, which I get, a lot of people are like that, start focusing on trying to eat a decent amount of protein per meal. That will actually slow down the amount of sugars and carbohydrates that you're eating. It will actually help slow it down and not affect the blood sugar nearly as bad. Point being is if you drink a 20-ounce thing of Coca-Cola and you have 0 protein, that's going to hit your bloodstream way harder than if you had a 20-ounce Coke with like a 10-ounce sirloin. Right? It's going to balance it out a little bit. I'm not saying to drink Coca-Cola. All I'm telling you is balance out your blood sugar. And it's why you see a lot of pro bodybuilders and guys that follow a vertical diet, they get most of their carbohydrates from rice. Why? It's highly absorbable, it's low inflammation. So you find that a lot of stuff that causes high blood sugar spikes tends to be high inflammation. What are those things? Wheat products, bread, pasta, things of that nature are going to cause high blood sugar spikes. May give you a decent amount of energy pre-training, but then probably by the middle of the training, post-training, and then after that, your blood sugar is going to hit the floor. So my point is that focus on proteins and fat intakes, and you'll start noticing that it'll lower anxiety and stress of training and give you a more stable energy base. Now, that's why I'm not a huge fan of energy drinks. I think they're terrible, 1. 2, I'm not a huge fan of caffeine. And 3, I'm not a huge fan of pre-workouts. Why? They're trying to mask you having a shitty diet and then giving you this false energy that causes adrenal fatigue. So the point is that you have to treat your eating the same way you treat your training and watch your stress levels fall dramatically. This is one of those things that I've used for a long time and people don't realize, like they'll get in my truck and we'll go to eat somebody from out of town and I'll be listening to like old school, like, you know, grunge, but like chill grunge music or like really slow, chill rap. Point is, I don't listen to anything that ramps me up outside of the gym. Why? I want that as a stimulus to train in the gym. So people think, oh, Matt, you know, squats world records and he's a 600-pound bencher. He's probably listening to Slayer in his truck. You're absolutely wrong. I listen to things that completely mellow me out outside the gym. And I've noticed that's helped tremendously. I'll give you a case in point. You know how sometimes you're on like Pandora and you got it on a particular thing and then a song comes on that's not really in that genre? I got a couple of lifting songs that I have used in the gym if I really want to get pissed off, and they'll come on the radio and my anxiety rises. My blood pressure goes up, my heart rate goes up, my body thinks it's go time. And that's how sensitive I think a lot of these external environments are that you can control. Try to listen to chill music, try to listen to stuff that keeps you cooled off, and then listen to the heavy shit in the gym. So this time, this video, we've went over some key things I think in mental prep, right? We want to stay away from the music we listen to in the gym, stay calm, okay? We want to try to keep our blood sugar mellow. That's going to reduce anxiety. We want to try to eat a little bit more meat or just focus on a little bit more protein, and that's going to stable out blood sugars and actually has been shown to reduce mood disorders, okay? There's some other big factors that we had in there, but if you really want to go the opposite direction and you want to raise up your stress levels, just get an intern like Harvey that you want to murder every day, and then you'll have him. That way you can focus with causing anxiety and stress, and then you'll be like me.
Hey, Matt, you ever thought if you shave your beard, you'll be a faster squatter?
I never thought about that.
I'm here for you.
Wind resistance.